Alright, we're good to go.
Alright, I just got a notification from YouTube that your thing's starting.
Hello, everyone. So today we have a guest on the stream. You may hear some car noises in the background. My friend James has decided to join us on the stream for an episode of TAQS, and he's actually in a car right now coming back from Pensacola. So um, we are just going to be chilling out and having a nice discussion about the game here, and then um, I don't know. Is there anything you want to say to the stream, James, before we get started?
Um, Hi.
Hello. Okay, so I probably should explain a lot since you don't know too much about the game. So right now I'm showing the Excel sheet on the screen, and obviously you can't see that. But basically, what the game is it's somewhat like Dungeons and Dragons, where we're gonna be like randomly creating a story throughout the course of coming onto the stream. So in it in this edition, it'll probably be mainly character creation, just because that's a necessary part. And then in if you come back on the stream at a different time, then we'll get more into the actual story um, and the gameplay. Um, so I have a whole list of classes and species to pick from, so I'll just start um, working through. And basically, this is going to be your base character, but then you can kind of build up the stats however you want, in order to be the person that you want to be in the game. Um, so there's I believe 10 different uh, attributes that have a stat with them. So there's health, attack, defense, luck, charisma, agility, craftsmanship, awareness, strength, which is involved with how much you can carry, and magic, which is pretty straightforward. Um, and then I have a list of classes. So I'm gonna read off the names, and then if you want me to specify what is specifically different about each class, then I can go into more detail and read you the actual stats. Um, so we have a scientist, an engineer, a mage, a traveler, a brute, and a siren. So, did any of those catch your attention?
Engineer and Brute.
Okay, so the engineer has 15 health, 8 attack, 10 defense, 5 luck, 5 charisma, 5 agility, 35 craftsmanship, 10 awareness, 7 strength, and 0 magic.
Alright,
Eh,
for most of those, I'm pretty sure the 35, I'm assuming that's high for craftsmanship just from the engineering class.
yes, that's
But
actually the
what's the
highest
big.
stat out of anyone. Everybody else only has like a 30 or lower.
Alright, for attack, defense, and health, what are the average sort of things?
So everybody has at least 10, but the engineer has 5 extra, so that's kind of a buff. And then attack, the maximum is 15 with the brute, and I can read you the brute statistics in a second. And the lowest is 3 with the mage. So
Alright,
basically, what's going to be happening with the attack stats is if you're attacking something, if you choose to use all of your ability at one time, then say if you had this 8, I would be plugging. I would get a random number generator, and I would pick a random number between 0 and 8, and whatever that is how much damage you would deal. Does that make
alright.
sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I can read you out the brute. The brute is 30 health, 15 attack, 30 defense, 1 luck, 1 charisma, 7 agility, and 0 craftsmanship, uh, 1 awareness, 15 strength, and 0 magic. So
Alright.
it's pretty heavy in the combat skills, but Uh,
I know I'm the only person on right now, but will I have to will my character end up working together with people, or will I mostly be on my own?
it's kind of just up to you and up to timing because we have like I'm planning to have a decent group of people playing the game, but it's kind of just a scheduling thing, really. So it's really up to you how you want the story to go. The whole idea of this is that it's all in one world, but it's not necessarily um, it's not necessarily all connected. So what's going to happen is there's one general map that everyone's playing on that's going to build. So if you go somewhere, then that place will be added to the map, and then maybe someone else playing will say, will look at the map and see that there's somewhere new, and they can go check that out themselves as well. So that's kind of the idea that I'm going for.
All right, and then one last question, and I think I know who I want to pick though. For the engineer,
Uh huh.
what as I do more, will I be able to craft more?
Yeah, yeah. So the idea is that this is just the base player, and then you can make the player into whatever you want based off of how you play the game. So these are the base stats, and then also there is with the species, there's some buffs and debuffs involved with each individual species when you pick that. So I can list those off if you want me to as well.
All right, I think I'm gonna go with engineer.
Okay. Okay, so one thing I will point out is the reason that the statistics are kind of weighted um, oddly with some classes is because all of them add up to 100. So what I did was if I wanted to make something have like a high health, then everything else had to be taken off. So that's why the brute has a lot of ones, but also two 30s and a 15 and two 15s.
All right,
Um,
that makes sense.
yeah, but then the engineer's a little bit more evened out, so it's a pretty nice base character.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll start listing out the species. We have a human, an elf, a fairy, a reptilian, and a rock. And I also left this open. Also with the class, I left it open to request if you had an idea, but it's. I think I have a pretty decent set of starting classes. But with the species, if there's anyone that you want to particularly request, I'm open to suggestions. Um, but what's happening is these when you pick the species, there is a buff of particular stats, and then there's also a debuff that's equal in amount of other statistics. So, um, did any catch your attention, or do you want me to just read through all of them?
Um, what is the rock?
The rock I kind of just threw in there. So the rock adds 19 defense, but then the penalty is 9 agility, 5 awareness, and 5 magic. Um, Basically, you wouldn't be able to move at the start.
All right, so what would happen if the debuff? Like, say I pick the rock and I have zero magic, would I just have -5 magic?
No, so this was something that I decided is that no statistic can go below 0, and also strength particularly can only be it has to be 1 or higher. So when you pick that, you would technically be getting kind of an advantage by not having as much of a debuff, but you'd also just have 0 in some categories, which in itself is kind of difficult.
I don't really like the thing about not moving, so I'm not gonna go with rock. What about elf and human?
Okay, so the human, the bonuses are 3 craftsmanship and 1 strength, and the penalties are 2 charisma and 2 awareness because uh, they're annoying to talk to and they're stupid, right? Um,
Yeah.
and then the elf is a bonus of 2 attack, 5 awareness, and 3 magic, and the penalty is 3 health, 5 defense, and 2 strength. Because I wanted them to be more of like I guess the like skilled person, but not necessarily able to take as many hits.
All right, no, I get that. And I mean, could you just go ahead and read off the reptile and pixie then, or the
Yeah, yeah.
fairy?
So the reptilian is 2 health added, 5 defense, and 3 strength, and then the penalty is 5 charisma and 5 magic. And then I'm assuming you meant the fairy.
Yeah.
Um, is
Sorry, I forgot what it was.
It's okay. Uh, the fairy is +5 luck, +5 charisma, and +5 magic, but -5 health, -5 defense, and -5 strength. So they're kind of the glass
Uh,
cannon.
could you could you read out reptilian again for me?
That's +2 health, +5 defense, and +3 strength, and -5 charisma, -5 magic.
I think I'm gonna go with reptilian.
You're gonna go with the reptilian, so you're gonna be a reptilian engineer. All right. So I'm gonna make a new tab for you. I have individual tabs that keep track of the player statistics. So I'm gonna just grab the engineer and copy those stats over into the new tab. And then we're gonna have to adjust. You said the reptilian is your pick. So you're going to have +2 health, up to 17 health, um, +5 defense, so up to 15 defense, not apostrophe 5 defense, but 15. Um, and then +3 strength, so you're up to 10 strength. And then your debuffs are -5 charisma, so you go down to 0 charisma, and -5 magic, but you don't have any magic, so you have a 105 total power level to begin. Um, so that's pretty nice. And then also, I'm gonna open up your inventory. So if you have 10, then I'm actually just gonna make this look kind of nice. Um, so hold on. Let me grab this and then get the color. And then we're gonna get those. Okay, so what you can see on the individual tab is I have the tracker of statistics, and then next to that is kind of like your bag, your inventory, and then with below that there is your armor slots, so helmet, torso, legs, hands, and feet. And then there's also extra equipment. So if you had like a weapon, or if you had a maybe like, I don't know, like a necklace or something, I don't know, something like that would go in the extra slot. And then so the last thing we need to do in the Excel sheet is to figure out your name. So do you have any particular name that you want to call your reptilian engineer?
Yeah. Can it just be like one name, or do I need a first name and a last name?
It's up to you.
All right. Mac Nickel.
Mac Nickel. Do you want to spell that?
One word. MacNickle.
Okay. So Mac Nickel, the reptilian engineer.
Yo.
Near. Let me see if I can get this to look nice on the Excel sheet. I left 4 slots for first name, last name, and then species and class, but it actually makes my life easier that you don't have a last name because I can uh, put reptilian all in one slot.
All right. Sounds good.
How did I spell that on the first thing? There's one on L. Reptilian. Oh god. It deleted the rest of the word. Okay. Reptilian engineer. Okay. So from this point, we can go 2 directions. So there's 2 things left that we need to do in the character creation. One is to create a visualization, which is what I did that with Megan on her character, and basically you're just gonna explain what the character looks like in your head, and then I'll try to get a crude drawing of it for the stream to see. And then also we have to pick where you're going to start. So there's two current starting locations, and so I mean, obviously you can't see the screen, so I'll just explain what they are. Um, so the one of the starting locations is Onajaburg, which is a small village, and there's also Janovia, which is a castle. So is there any particular one that you want to start at?
Are there benefits to starting in the small village or the castle?
Not necessarily. There would be had there been more gameplay before this point, because you would be able to see kind of what's around those areas. But as of right now, it's a complete blank slate, so you don't really know what you're getting into with any of them.
Um, put me in. Could I go in the small village?
Okay, that works out because I think Megan went to the other to Genovia. So now we'll get some work done on both. So you are starting in Onajuburg, and we will just go and work on the visualization. So um, when you think of your character, which was McNichol, the reptilian engineer, what do you see?
Um, I'm I'm visualizing in my head kind of a morph of like mostly humanoid with a mix of like raptor kind of thing, brown
So
skin.
so you're thinking
Uh,
like a raptor kind of head shape?
uh, Not as pronounced as that, but more raptor than human for the head.
Okay. So we're thinking like kind of like a slightly visible snout, but not necessarily like
Yeah,
completely a snout.
I am feeling a tail though, so I would like a tail.
All right. So we'll see how this goes because I don't want to dwell too long on the picture, but what's gonna happen is whenever I draw something on stream, if it's something important, I'll go back later and clean it up off stream so that we're not just wasting time with me drawing little things here and there. But I'm just gonna try and get a general um, shape of your character here, and then we're gonna go on and do other stuff. We'll see how the time is going when this is done, and then we can move on to other stuff if we have more time. I'm getting
All
a
right.
bunch of text messages. I don't know if that's something important or it's just people on Snapchat probably talking about the stream, but um, all right. So I'm just kind of drawing like a bust of the character right now. Um, but let's see. So, would you say the eyes are kind of lizard-like?
Yeah, kind of like the slitish kind of thing with the pupils.
Yeah, yeah. Alright, so I'm trying not to make it look cute, because I don't think...
Uh, I would rather McNichol not be cute, but
Yeah, I don't know, because I picked a kind of round shape for the head,
I don't know
and
if I have zero charisma, I might do better socially if I'm cute.
yeah. Um, Megan went the siren route, so
She made a what?
she went the siren route, so
Uh-huh.
she was going for more of the uh, if she's not wearing clothes, it'll probably be a benefit kind of thing. But
Oh.
yeah, I think that if your character was not wearing clothes, you'd probably scare people
Yeah.
more.
Well, I feel like that's how it is for most engineers. We're not the most physically attractive bunch.
Yeah, yeah. But you get the job done, right?
Hopefully, even though I've confused and upset a lot of people along the way.
Mm-hmm. This is looking kind of weird because I've only drawn the eye slits so far, and it just kind of looks like an upside down baby. But uh,
Well, I've
hopefully
seen
this
your artwork. I trust you.
Hopefully this will come out as somewhat more of a shape we're looking for.
Would it be frowned upon if Megan and I did meet that I tried to seduce her?
I mean, I guess it would be part of the game, right? But
Um,
I don't know if it would work too well because she's the one that has all the charisma and you don't necessarily have any at the moment. But
how lucky am I? I can't remember.
let's see. You got a um you have a 5 in luck. So it's a start, but it's not like the maximum that you could have. Um
Alright, well, hopefully I can upgrade my stats before I meet Megan.
oh yeah.
Or if anybody watching now and wants to play, wants to get down with a reptilian.
Mhm. I kind of had a feeling that you might be going for the favor bartering type of character, but I
Like in the past, when I've done this sort of games, I either go that way or just like pure brute strength kind of thing. So I was leaning towards brute, but engineering sounded like a lot of fun.
yeah, that was kind of my deciding in college. I was kind of leading towards brute, but engineering sounded pretty fun.
I mean, it's not too late. You can always switch over to brute.
Yeah, you just join the rugby team, right?
The UCF men's rugby team actually has our first playoff game this weekend.
Nice.
So if anybody's free at 1 o'clock and they're out in the UCF area, go to the grass fields behind Hercules.
1 o'clock tomorrow?
No, the 25th.
Oh, that's next weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're getting kind of a facial shape here. I'm imagining that a raptor has somewhat of a large mouth, right?
Yeah.
And then there would probably be a decent amount of teeth in there.
So I forgot to ask, but are there racial bias in this game? Like, in the kingdom I'm in, is it pretty evenly distributed among the races, or is it like one ruling kind of race?
Um, Not necessarily. I'd say it's pretty even. Perhaps that there's little satellite villages that are more specified towards one particular race, but then within the if you look at the kingdom of a whole, it's kind of spread out. There's no necessarily overarching race of authority. It's a pretty progressive kingdom, I'd say.
All right, that's good. I
Does
was
your
worried I was
character
gonna have
have
to like,
any hair? That's a good question.
um, I want to say yes, but reptiles don't usually have hair, so I'm gonna go with he has the ability to grow hair, but right now he's clean shaven and
Okay.
bald.
Would there be any like random circles or something on the top, like kind of a cobblestone pattern, or
Um,
are you just going for the smooth-headed lizard guy?
I'm going with the smooth-headed lizard guy.
All right.
I might be down for a tattoo later on in the game.
Okay. We'll get there when we get there. All
Yep.
right. So I'm just kind of getting the general outline of stuff, and then um, we're gonna probably. Actually, let's see. We've been going for about 24 minutes. We could get a little bit started into the story if you still feel up to it.
Yeah, I'm down for it.
All right, it'll be cool. I haven't really done much of the actual gameplay on the channel yet, so it'll be cool to see how it plays out. Cause I'm kind of just beta testing a lot of stuff right now. So, all right,
I'm
and
always
then
down to be a guinea pig.
yep, I'm sure you will be a guinea pig as Haley becomes more down the line of her PT training.
Oh, yeah, she's already practiced on me. Like, she wants me
Hmm.
to go back to rugby so I get injured again.
That's an interesting combination of relationship goals. But all right, so I think I have a kind of general outline. I'll let you be the judge of that when you end up seeing this. But I think I'm gonna clean this up and try and make it look a little bit more menacing, just because that's the character you're going for. But um, I think we got something to start off with. So we're gonna save this off as MacNickel, and then we can get going. So what I'm gonna do is there's gonna be a so there's kind of three tiers to this in terms of the visualization. There is the world map, which um, shows everything, and it's going to be constantly growing as we get more into the story. But then there is going to be a an individual map of each like village or each town, and then there's also going to be I'm going to do speed drawings of events. So say you're having a conversation with somebody, or if you're fighting something, then I'd be kind of just like speed drawing just to give a quick visualization. But the maps are going to be a solid kind of continuous thing. So um, I'm going to start with a general idea of Onajaberg, and so we're just gonna get um, a little house here, and then we can start getting into the story. So let me get my calculator out so we can get our random number generation.
Your calculator does random numbers?
Yeah, all of the TIs do random numbers. If you go into the
I need to pay
probability,
more attention to my TI.
huh?
I need to pay more attention to my TI calculator then.
Yeah, if you hit math and then go over to probability, it's number 5. You can just pick a random integer. So then you put whatever number you want the minimum to be, and then a comma, and then whatever number you want the maximum to be, and then you get a random integer between A and B.
Well, I'll be damned.
Yeah, I use that for a lot of stuff on the stream. Actually, I was thinking about it in terms of time. Do you want to join the stock market because you are this is your first time on the stream, correct?
Uh, yeah, I'll join the stock market.
Okay, so I think we'll save the storytelling for the next um edition because we are that's kind of the pattern that we've been following with how Megan's ended up, but um then we can get you in the stock market and uh you'll be joining the
One
competition.
last quick question about the game.
Yeah.
Do I will I be starting out with any equipment, or will it be kind of fine as I go along?
So obviously you'll have the reasonable stuff, like you'll probably have like starter clothes or something like that, but in terms of starter equipment, I'm going to say that you start with pretty much nothing and then you have to kind of work your way to get stuff.
All right.
Okay. So I'm going to close this out and then I'm going to go grab the stock market. All right. And we should be able to get this visible on the screen. I'm just going to stay in the TAQS background. Did I tell you what TAQS stands for?
No.
So it stands for Tale Adventure Quest Story. Just let that sink in. But we can see the stock market up on the screen here, and so I'm going to add you into the stock market, James, and you will be starting with a balance of 100,000 Jonos, And then we should be able to go like that. And I think everything is all set up. Okay, so, oh, it's freezing up. Sometimes Excel doesn't like the fact that I'm doing a lot of things at once. Uh, but I know this will pass in a second. But yeah, so I wanted to make something that wasn't just Dungeons and Dragons, so I made the name Tale Adventure Quest Story, and I was like, that sounds stupid enough to be on my stream. And
Did
then,
you ever think about naming it TAQS instead? Tale Adventure Time Story?
um, no, I'd rather not have the copyright infringement.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, going off of that, if you need another class, I think Jake the Dog would be an interesting class, although that
I was
still might
thinking
be.
about some sort of shapeshifter. That would be interesting. But I think that'd be a weird situation because I feel like it would be a pretty big advantage to have that ability. So you'd kind of have to lose out in a lot of other statistics. But I don't know.
Maybe, like, I don't know if you do go over, like, maybe luck and charisma to go off that. Like, you had to be lucky enough to get what you wanted, like, the shape you wanted.
Yeah.
Or
Um,
charisma, like, you had
or
to be able to
perhaps
sell it and
perhaps
give that.
shapeshifter could be a species, and you could kind of just, but it would just like the only stat you'd be getting is the ability to shapeshift, but then you just lose a lot of other stuff to kind of even it out. I don't know. I'll toss it around. Okay, so the way the stock market is looking right now, red is at our lowest of all the stock at 120. Yellow is at a flat 200. Green is at 183, and blue is at 322 in value. So the general trends, blue went down kind of at the start, but ever since has been going pretty consistently upwards. And then the rest have kind of been battling, but in terms of the patterns, red has been pretty spastic just because in the middle I threw it my support, and then there was some weeks we didn't get too many votes, so it ended up getting a pretty big spike. And then green and yellow have been a pretty consistently upwards trend, but have been um, somewhat mellowed out. I think their trend kind of matches the rest of the market in terms of its slope. So, how do you want to split up your 100,000 Jonos? And by the way, you don't have to spend all of it if you don't want, because you can always reinvest later if you want to.
You know what? I'm feeling one red, one green, save the rest of my 100,000 Jonos.
Okay.
Wait, hold up. No, no, no. I'm sorry. I didn't do the math right in my head where it's like 200 and then 100,000.
Yeah, yeah. You could probably do a lot more of that if you want. If you want.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to do some mental math in my head.
I have a calculator here if you have any questions.
Um, I'm feeling. What would it put me at if I had 150 red, 150 green?
150 red. So red is 120. So 120 times
That'll put me
100.
over.
No, no, no. You have 100,000 to work with.
Oh,
So the red would only be 18,000, and then the you said green.
yep.
Green is 183 times 150. And then add those together. You would have that would be a little bit less than half of your money.
I like that.
Okay,
You know what?
so that
And
is
one, one blue, just one singular blue.
one singular blue. Just to say
One,
you bought it. That's the kind of the
yeah.
so yellow is the one you're leaving at 0, and then red you're putting at 150. Green you're putting at 150, and blue you're putting at 1. And so then we need to subtract 45,772 from 100,000. So we have 54228 left. And I'd say that's a pretty good investment strategy. At the moment, the stock market is pretty high um, from its original starting point. To give you some perspective, Megan is sitting atop the stock market right now with 462,000 Janos. I'm right behind her with 412,000 Janos. And then the next one below that is our equivalent of the S&P 500 uh, because it's his name is Even Steven, and he just bought out an even amount of stock at the start of it in each one. So he bought 250 stock from each color, and he currently has 206,000 Janos. So that means that the market has over doubled in value since the beginning of this endeavor, which doesn't really make it too much sense considering there's a completely random system of whether it goes up or down. But
That's
that
pretty cool.
that's just the trend that's been happening. So we've had a significant amount of inflation, um, but um,
Inflation always works.
yeah, right.
Yeah. Especially stagflation. Um,
Stagflation.
so in I don't know how long you're planning on running this, but in the end, are the Jonos redeemable?
I don't know. Maybe I can have something where there's like a prize for the victor, but at the
Could
moment,
like we could we rent you for a day or something?
I depends on the context, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. For right now, it's been running for 16 weeks, so you're buying in at week 16. Um, Maybe when it gets around to 52, I'll cut it and say that was the first season or something. But I think it'd be cool. I just wanted to have kind of a way for the guests to kind of keep um, involved in the stream even after they're off. But hopefully you'll be climbing up the stock market. But as of right now, I will say that your amount of stock compared to everyone else that has bought in is pretty low. But that's just because the market was pretty high when you wanted to buy in. So we'll see how it goes. But I
Alright.
will say to those viewing that if you want to support James in his investments here, I'll put a link up in the corner so that you guys can click on that if you're not watching this live. But if you are watching this live, you can go over to my previous update video. I believe it was called General Update TAQS Basics or something, because I was talking about how we were going to play this game. But seeing as we're pushing on almost 40 minutes, I think we're going to call this one done. So, is there anything you want to say to the stream before we sign off here, James?
Come play.
Okay.
That's all I got. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And good luck on the rest of your drive home.
Thanks.
All right. So we will be. Oh, I specifically will probably be seeing you tomorrow. I believe I have a couple friends that are also joining on to the game. But until then, goodbye.